Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode of the vlogs. Look at the state of the weather, absolutely fantastic. Supposedly it was supposed to be 2 weeks of rains and luckily it's not been, but I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you Yam Squad, thank you to making the beginning of 2020 very excellent. And if you've just joined the channel, welcome, and if you have been watching the videos, watching the vlogs, watching the channel for a long time, thank you so much for the support. This last couple of months has been absolutely awesome and we're starting this week off right with a bunch of positivity because, as a very important person has said, positivity breeds positivity. But today we're talking a little bit about changing of the training program, but first things first. We actually have to head into the gym, just have to make sure Yam's all right, and then we're going to get on to some lovely leg work, which seems to be having a big impact, which I'll talk about later on, which I alluded to last week, but we're making adjustments elsewhere in the program too, but we'll get to that after the gym, so let's get in there. Oh yeah! And we've made it back to the house to fuel up after a lovely weight session, because remember, food is fuel, and regardless if you're doing weights, regardless if you're doing cardio, regardless of the workout that you are doing, or it doesn't even have to be a workout, you have to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel. So today, or this morning, we have some delicious rice cooking, and I think we're going to go with a little bit of tuna in there for second breakfast. But as you saw in that weight session, a little bit of deadlift, a little bit of bench press, a little bit of leg press, and we also had some pulls in there as well, but didn't quite see those. And as I talked about last week with the 1K, I've been changing, or Charlie and I have been changing how we approach weights, how we approach the deadlifts in general. So before Paris we did a lot of squats, lots and lots of squats, and really pushed sort of my ability to do squats, the weights that I was doing up in the squats department. But after Paris, since it was a new block, we were thinking, okay, let's change it up, let's go into deadlifts. And so we decided that my biggest weaknesses were, as we saw in Paris, I would really worked on my sort of top end fitness just to try and get me going as fast as possible, as quick as possible. So that's one of the reasons why I was able to rate so high and not necessarily generate the power associated with those high rates. So the idea with this new block was to, okay, we've got that high end fitness, let's work on that low to mid end fitness and get some strength in there as well. And so to get that strength in there, we're looking at really smashing those weight sessions, and the deadlifts are a big part of the weight sessions in this block, because really a deadlift is very similar to a rowing stroke, especially in a single or a sculling boat, since it's very sort of up and down the slide, same as a deadlift, very up and down, just lift, put it down, lift, put it down. But last week, last week was awesome. The week before that, we were almost, I spoke about sort of setting the intensity for you and working at your intensity, working at your level, not just throwing in whether it's mileage or intensity because you're because you think that's what you should do, but working at what's good for you. And after Paris, we were thinking, okay, well, the intensity is coming down, so we can really push the mileage up, which was right, but we didn't bring the intensity down far enough. But it looks like the rice is almost done, so I'll continue this conversation post fueling up, because after that weight session I am very, very hungry. So talking about intensities and where the program is moving on going forward in this sort of last week or so. So let's fuel up, oh yeah! And speaking of intensities, we've made it into the Yam Cave to get some lower intensity business on the rowing machines. Approximately 2 hours on the machines. We've had a little bit of an upgrade as well. Brought my speakers here from Henley into the Yam Cave to give us a more pleasurable listening experience along with our excellent viewing experience. But post-erg, we'll talk about that intensity and changes in the program down to the intensity in more than just in the rowing sense. But now, about 32-ish K. So I'll see you after. Oh yeah! And we have finished the 2 hours and 10 minutes on the machine. So gradually pushing up the mileage on the machines as we talk about intensity after we've finished on the machine. So an average heart rate of 125, a peak of 136, burning a total of 1600 calories. So food will be very important as always after such a long session. Even though it is a lower intensity, it still means that the body is burning a lot of fuel. But now on to the intensities themselves. So my girlfriend recommended that I read a book called The Little Black Book of Training Wisdom. And the book itself goes through all of the learnings of the author, who is an expert in sort of the field of training, and it just goes over them really, really simply, makes it sort of really like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, and it's not too complicated. In fact, it spends a good portion of the start of the book going through sort of terminologies and making sure you can make sense of the rest of the book. But there were specific parts of the book that really made sense to me and really hit home about intensities and about some methods of training that can really benefit an athlete. And sort of the ones that really stuck out to me were the idea that an athlete generally wants to perform and hit every session really hard, and it's almost an ego hit to say back off, like take a lighter session. And I've spoken about it in some of the vlogs before about sessions that are easy are supposed to be easy and sessions that are hard are supposed to be hard, and those easy sessions genuinely should be easy and not trying to push on and push further. And that's why I use a heart rate training, making sure I'm in the right zone, power training and all that, making sure I'm hitting those right targets rather than pushing too far and affecting other parts of the training. So after the 2K in Paris at the beginning of February, the idea for the new training block, the big training block, like I mentioned after Paris, was to up the mileage, lower the intensity, and see if we can sort of help improve that lower aerobic base so that I can later on push the anaerobic base and fitness and strength and all that higher. There was also an idea in this training block to increase strength and increase power, or increase the muscular endurance in the weights room. And so the idea was there, the thought process was there, was okay, we're improving the aerobic, the low intensity aerobic base through lots of mileage, and then we're going to do some hard weight sessions as well to make sure that we can get stronger. And then not last week but the week before, I hit all the sessions, I managed all the sessions, I did all the weights, but I felt like in the weights room I couldn't attack the weights like I wanted to. In even the low intensity stuff, I had to really make it low intensity, like slower. I had to make sure the splits themselves were slower to make sure I was in the right zones. So I couldn't really attack those low intensity sessions like I wanted to either. Not that you would want to attack the low intensity sessions, but generally you want to be in the right power bands to have the right speeds to have the right physiological benefits. But then again, you have to make sure you're in the right heart rate zones. But in that week of training, so that was 3 weeks into the new training program of doing about, I think it was about 200, 240k on the erg, then we started getting on the water. It felt like I was getting overtired, even though I wasn't really attacking every session. It was more sort of getting through each session. And so that reminded me of two things. For reading this book, and also from previous times where I got overtired and dug myself into a hole that I couldn't get out of. For the book, it's all about hitting those hot sessions, hitting the sessions where through the week you want to hit those sessions hard, whatever they are, whether it's weight sessions or you have a 2K prep session or whatever it is, multiple sessions a week that you really want to attack hard, but everything else is almost pushed to the side and is just, you finish that, you not coast through it, but you finish those workouts but attack the other ones. So there's that, as well as the feeling of, okay, I'm overdoing it here and I don't think I can maintain this for many more weeks before I run myself too far down. So speaking to Charlie, looking at the program, adjusting it a little bit, that's when we come in today about, okay, what do we really want to target? It's the aerobic fitness, the low end fitness, whereas I am weaker at, and it's the strength, but not necessarily the power, but the strength itself, which we kind of saw in the 1K, or at least we saw the improvements of in the 1K. So the idea now with the training program is to hit the hot sessions, which are going to be from now on the weight sessions. So going into the weight room and really giving it some real yam. So in the deadlifts, pushing up the weight as much as I can, making sure I can really sort of get stronger. And then we're reducing the intensity sessions depending on the week even further. So we're not doing the 1 minute on, 1 minute off in this part of the block on the Monday, taking that out, and we're doing more steady state on the erg. So pretty much Monday, Wednesday, we're doing 2+ hours on the machines. So today was an hour or 2 hours and 10. And then we're sort of bumping that up gradually. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, instead of doing weights, cardio, and splitting, say, 270 minutes, 280 minutes, it's basically going to be one session after the weight session. It's not quite the same volume, but still, for example, today, this is 130 minutes, and that'll be 34k, roughly, 35k. So it is still big mileage. And then on the other days, we're going to use them for a little bit of recovery days, but still smashing the weights and then trying to get on the water. And so the idea is sort of twofold. Number one, hitting those hot sessions, really trying to smash those weight sessions, which has already shown some benefits from the 1K, where I've been trying to really hit those deadlifts, and it's almost like I'm feeling like I'm in more pain in the weights room doing the deadlifts than I was in the 1K, or at least my legs were. So I felt like my legs aren't going to give up yet, so I can keep pushing the legs, which ended up, I went about 3 splits faster than I thought I was going to go, which is pretty good in that regard. And then the other part of the sort of change in the program is, so if we do, instead of doing 2 to 3, or instead of doing the majority 3 sessions of the day, bringing it back a little bit to do 2 or 3 a day, which means that the recovery time is much greater, as well as since the volume is dropping slightly, the energy requirement is lower as well. So those two combined mean that I can really hit the weight sessions and really get that bit stronger, as well as, since the volume of the weights is so high, it actually pushes into the cardio sort of zone as well, or the muscular endurance side. And then on the sort of like today, the lower intensity sessions, I can make sure they are not only low intensity, but they are in the right power zones as well. They're not just a sort of coast through that I just have to sit on the machine and do it for 2 hours. Yes, that is generally what we're trying to do in the low intensity sessions, but we're hoping for a little bit more than that in regards of still sort of moving on and seeing the improvements rather than being too tired to see the improvements. So hopefully that last bit made sense. But it is a drastically different kind of program. And also so I've been doing this program since just before Christmas. So it's been 8 to 10 weeks roughly of this program. In fact, more than that, maybe almost 12 weeks. So in theory, my body should be now almost getting the adaptations from the start of the program and pushing forward, kind of thing. Obviously, my body's been adapting and adjusting from the training already, but the idea that, okay, we've trained for that long, 10, 12 weeks in this new program, so from here, we should be getting the longer term benefits from the previous sessions way back. That's not quite science, but that's generally the adaptations can take that long to like bed in, and then we see in them as well as the changes in program. And I think the biggest changes, or the biggest difference I feel from the change is, okay, I have more time to recover. My body isn't crying for food, crying for fuel, or just thinking, okay, I need to finish this session and just really take it easy. I can go into each session and say, yeah, I'm going to, whether it's a low intensity or a high intensity or a weight session, I'm going to do what's on the program, kind of thing, rather than I hope I can do what's on the program. But the weight sessions are essentially those hot sessions, and then since the lower intensity sessions like today on the ergs, yes, they are important, but it's less hot because it's just that low intensity. But I really think I'll probably make another video. I know I spoke about weights before, but this is sort of the first time that I've really noticed the difference of weights. So I'm going to just wait a little bit longer, see how the weights progress, and see how they affect my scores. And if they keep improving, or at least if I feel they keep improving the scores, then I'll speak about that a little bit more and why I think and what I think's happened with the weights. Because going off of that 1K that I did last week, I think a big part of that was the weights. Or maybe, like I said, it's sort of getting the benefits from the previous sessions. Or maybe it's because I felt more recovered. Lots of Rs, or 3 Rs, but combined, they can all make big, big improvements. And that's kind of what we're looking at going forward, is keeping the improvements going. We're actually quite far into this big block of training already, which has been flying by, having a great time. And I think that will be it for today's episode, Yam Squad. It's been a little bit of a chatty one today, but I just wanted to keep the Yam Squad informed of sort of the training. Like I mentioned last week about sort of there's a 1K and then there's the deadlifts, and I'm changing this and changing that. I want to make sure that you guys are coming along on the journey with me, and it's really exciting to be able to share the journey, because even sort of looking through the videos from way back, like I said at the start of the video, it's thank you so much again, but looking at the videos at the way at the start and to where I've come now, where I've even just video wise, or talking to the camera wise, or editing wise, or sound wise, or rowing wise, I think, or at least fitness wise, sculling obviously needs to be improved, but it's been an awesome journey, and I'm looking forward to the time where I can say, someone comes up to me and say you've always been like that. So say I do a big 2K, so I get under 550, and someone says, well, obviously you're big, and that's just what happens. You're that big, you get a 550. When I can actually say, look, I obviously don't watch all, I think it was above 600 videos now, but you can go back to even the start of January, that was a 554 2K, or you can go back to where I did I think it was 610, and sort of all those ups and downs, tracking through all of that. I think it's going to be a really interesting journey, especially into 2020. A lot of changes have already happened, and we're looking for more changes to be happening. And as we're coming into summer, or at least we're getting out of winter, going to spring, looking forward to some sun, and then there's loads of plans and things happening in the summer, as well as even going into further into winter. But that's for future Yam Squad to look forward to. And if you have sort of ideas of what you want me to talk about in the videos, whether it's weights or intensities of training or something completely different that you think will help the Yam Squad out, then let me know in the comments below. And that will be it for today's episode. And as always, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and I'm going to get some wonderful food, because remember, food is fuel. Oh yeah!